Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Our goal here is to review the market generated information in a holistic fashion. We're intimately following the auction's narrative of both ES and NQ. If we have time, we'll theorize and add additional commentary towards the end. We did upload a lot of speculation and commentary video today, so feel free to check it out. Again, I'm pretty much just chilling, just giving my thoughts out in real time. It's super helpful for me to really just get down and explain in words what's going on and not just kind of letting it sit in my head. I feel like we as retail traders will just kind of stare at the screen sometimes and just close your mouth and just think about all this shit. You're trying to process all this information and you don't really have words. You just end up like eventually clicking. You know what I mean? I think it's really healthy and cathartic for me to explain what I'm seeing and just really keep it going. You know what I mean? Not staying still, just really thinking about what's going on, whether I'm in a trade or not, and just really explaining in words what's going on. So it's helpful for me. But okay, all right, I get off my soapbox. So let's start with our summary questions. Where is the market coming from? And what is price trying to accomplish? Actually, let me close this window. Just bear with me. So again, today is Tuesday. We're a bit light on the data until the retail sales, which is Thursday, and the jobless claims. Um, and we do have the beginning of earnings, the first full week. So a bit light overall for the catalysts, but we did have some banks, some of healthcare that was reporting today before the bell, and things were pretty bullish, in the beginning. And then we had a little bit lighter towards the end of this for the after hours. And again, not too much going on. We had a little bit of data at 5:30, and then just some Fed speakers. So again, everything was just pretty chill for the most part. Do remember we had the big rally the Monday, which was Columbus Day, and that was kind of overshot everyone's expectations. Ended up doing 60 something points. Yeah, about 70 points of range for the ES and about 300 for the NQ. So again, that was yesterday. So just for some context of where we're coming from, we're at all time high. We're at all time highs, baby. You know what I mean? Even on the holiday, we're pushing 70 fucking points. So you know what I mean? Nothing can go wrong for the most part. Everybody's all bullish. We did leave some singles behind us, but we've been doing that for the past couple of days. Um, and we really haven't tested them. So we wanted to see if that trend was going to continue into the um, into the RTH session. So we'll see how we responded. We'll look at the NQ first. Let me go back one more time. So really the goal, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know the goal, higher highs, higher lows. Clearly that didn't happen. Same situation here. They just wanted to stay above their 5 SMA on the daily for the Nasdaq. So both of them failed. But actually looking at the Nasdaq a little closer, we can see that the volume was about 500,000. So look, what's crazy is that earlier in the session, the shit was dead. The shit was dead. You were basically thinking that this was returning from a holiday session. We were just super light on volume, and you can slowly see the volume starting to pick up, seeing the tempo pick up as well as we started to head to the downside, especially towards the end of that first hour. So when you look at this, you'll see like, okay, this is about average volume, about 500,000. No, you didn't see it. You didn't see how that happened. This was a lot of volume for this RTA session. They did a good job of really picking up the pace when it seems like everybody wanted to chill today. I just think it's important to notice that like there's a change in character for the price action. Everybody was expecting one thing and it didn't happen. But I digress. And you can see the delta again. We are at negative 9,000, and I haven't seen it that high. I don't think in a long time. So sellers just really there's a lot of urgency today. So I think this is absolutely cool. Buyers never really had control. Same situation for the S&P 500. I'm trying to pick up my speed a little bit. Sorry, I'm excited for today. Same thing, negative 37,000, but we finished at negative 26,000. So again, a lot of effort. Very good positioning for the for both for both parties. They're positioning for where the most volume was done. You can see that's where the sellers were. So no bad positioning or anything like that, especially up here. We have a shitload of buyers that are kind of offsides. So interesting day. Looking at the sector tracker, you can see the S&P was down uh, 3/4. If you'd have told me technology would have been down 2%, this would have been the case maybe like a couple of months ago before the rebalancing, then I would imagine we would have been down much more. But for us to be down less than 1% and technology is down -2%, with healthcare being down 1.2 and financials barely being up 20 basis points, I would have told you we would have been down, at least more than 1%. Um, but everyone did a good job. So I mean, yeah, this looks like a real bad day, a real heavy sell day, and we won't negate the fact that it is. I think it's something worth noting that this was a pretty chill day, at least from. This just seems like a de-risking day. And what was this, like chips or something? Nvidia, Broadcom, AMD. So yeah, this may have just been like a chips kind of thing going on because everyone else is just chilling. Healthcare. What was this? UNH. Did they report? Oh shit, they did. Yeah. Yeah. So, man, yeah, I'll leave my thoughts out. I'll leave my thoughts out. Hopefully you picking up my little thoughts here. All right, let's look at the market profile for the Nasdaq. So I'm working on a way to show this properly, but essentially is this shit frozen? Hold on. All right, sorry about that. All right, so I'm trying to find the best way to show this, so I'm not doing all this scrolling on the screen. But yesterday there was some singles here. It wasn't much. It was just kind of here. What is this? The 490s. So essentially just the 490s. So we ended up, in an overnight session, just kind of drifting a little lower, pushing up. Ideally, price wanted to, for the NQ, they wanted to hit those singles that was above the 680s, but they failed. They also failed to get above the prior day's high, and then we ended up collapsing. Ideally, in a situation like this where everyone is trying to run out the front door, because if we can't make it here, then, those holiday gains, people want to lock that in. So they're headed straight towards these singles. Um, so they were able to hit that fairly quickly. And on that way there, they created a crap ton of singles. This is actually like 100 points worth of singles here. So these will definitely be revisited in the near future. It's more than a. Actually, this is from the 560s to the 550s, so like 110. So very aggressive. Multi-distribution day. What's crazy is that the volume point of control is up here at the 640s, but price right now closed at the low 30s, at the 330s. So the VPOC is 300 points above us. And if you even put this together for the week, again, value is up there, but the price is down here. So this is extremely out of balance. So this is going to be dangerous for someone. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I actually want to go back one more time to make a point. So again, it seems that we have pushed up. We knocked through some singles. We still have a few singles left at the 680s. I think it's like 680s. And then they failed. And it appears that we're headed back down to these 20K 20s. So something to be on the lookout for. 20K 200. Let's see if that's about the same for the ES. All I did is come in and just update these singles. So same situation, except double distribution is multi-distributed. 1, 2, 3. The VPOC is in the midpoint. It's a little bit of singles early in the day. Again, they were more of like a grind, step down. Seems like a reluctance in selling. Again, the majority of this was just tech. Again, if you look at the video that we had, you just seeing us saying that. I mean, everyone was doing well, so it's kind of surprising to see. But same situation here for the whole week. The VPOC is above us. and price is lower. VPOC is at the 5909s and price closed at the 5861. So about 40, about 50 points of a separation of imbalance there. And it's important to note that we did not make a higher high, and we had a double distribution. Excuse me, we had a double low here, a double bottom. They survived that low by like a point or so, which was kind of cool. All right, looking at the intraday, same shit we just looked at in Q. That's that push up, lower high, lower high. F it, I'm out. Ended up hitting those singles areas, actually accepted it, and now we're back into um, this is probably no longer a low volume node, but it was just like a formal battle zone kind of going on here. So essentially, we're just back into balance, which I actually want to make one more reference on the daily and see if that is the case. So again, we had our 2 week balance range. Excuse me. I know that's not straight. I know it's fine. I know that's not straight, but the 2 week balance range, somewhere around in here, basically. But basically, the NQ is starting to leak back into this range. So what's scary is kind of think about is that we had our 2 week range. It was actually over here. We looked lower. We stopped. We're reverting higher. Pull back. Pushing through once more. If we do find our way back down, this is scary. This is very scary because you had a failed breakout here and a failed breakout here. So you're coming from down, from up, coming from the top rope again and coming back down. That's crazy. Just something to be on the lookout for. You know what I mean? You don't really see the same thing here with the S&P 500. Let me double check. So again, there's a little more clear. Their 2 week balance range. Their 2 week balance range was essentially like this. So they look lower and pushed up. Notice they're grinding a lot more. So again, they're much more stronger for the S&P 500. But again, they could find that same situation where they get back into the balance range from here, and it won't be as bad as the NQ. But the NQ needs to be careful. Just kind of noticing this. It's a lot going on with that. But all right, sorry, we're getting a little excited today. So again, we've been talking recently about the lack of trend days that we've seen. Luckily, we're able to get a little bit more. So we had our trend days a few other days. This is not a trend day. This is not a trend day for the NQ. This is a trend day to the downside. Lower highs, lower lows the entire time for the most part. Same situation for the ES, except they did have their trend day essentially on Friday. Excuse me, on Monday, which was the holiday. And then that was completely reversed today. But if you notice, we just closed back into the range from Friday. So yeah, while this may have been invalidated, this was basically just like free game, free positioning for people who were participating. So we're now just resuming where we were on Friday. So I mean, I don't really see that as like a bad situation. Essentially, it's just like that. Just my thoughts there. So again, this looks scary, um, but just given the context, the buyers still have the narrative control. Okay, we'll look at the ES here. So again, yesterday was a holiday, full session though, full session here, and then he had the overnight, so the Sunday overnight, and then the Monday. Sunday overnight was a continuation from Friday, the drift up. We had our open drive the day before, which was Monday, trend day upwards, and then here comes the overnight session. We essentially chopped sideways a little lower, but ended up being in the middle. Still not breaking those overnight highs though, so we'll do what we can. We're at all-time highs. We should see an open drive. I remember at the start of the session we were saying, okay, where's the open drive? Where's the open test drive? We need to see some urgency from the buyers because we are at high altitudes, and yeah, we didn't see it. We saw this slingy action, two-way trading to the downside. See if we can make this a little clearer. So we had our open here, basically an open auction, and then we had a leak lower at the end. We had our pullback to open. We broke our low to the initial balance low, traded under the initial balance low the entire time, explosion lower, continuation all the way until we ate through all of those singles. We had our pullback to the 5 moving average. That was engulfed, traded below, we're back above, eventually engulfed, and then we trend down a little lower. We have our tick low, possible reversal. That too failed. No touches to the VWAPs at all. Sellers are in control. Pretty bad sign at 9:30, that halfway mark when after Euro close, and it just trend down for the rest of the day. Fairly simple. Fairly simple. Again, we were trading this in the earlier days. We were in the earlier the session. We were focused too much on the first bracket, the A bracket, when there were clear signs here on this retest and that rejection. We're looking at that in real time. This is actually where we freaking exited. Should have been looking to add here. They could not stay above the initial balance low. So sign there. And then this impulse, we traded this breakout low here, but we bitched up and covered like somewhere in here, basically, looking at the 1 minute bars. Our target would have been, and as we were talking about those singles, we just had to believe and just, remain patient, leave our stops above these highs. So we'll just, keep that noted for next time. This definitely was unexpected given the prior days impulsive day upwards, but it is important to mention that that was off of a holiday and lighter volume. That was completely, reversed in one day, which we saw happen. I think it was like Labor Day, if I recall. It was sometime not too long ago. I was mentioning it on the stream. I just didn't actually pull a reference for it. But again, this is fairly simple. So, I was looking in here earlier, but again, trade one, trade two, it's understandable. But given this little coiling pattern here and with the weakness from NQ, this breakout low here as well. Definitely would have been hesitant to add here. I would have been waiting for a test for the VWAP, but that just really never happened. But definitely places to add somewhere in here. Now, what you would be targeting, you would really be targeting more of the prior day structure, because at that point, you would be aiming for the low of the RTA session for Friday. Okay, that is the ES. So in Q, same situation, overnight drift. Theirs was a little more impulsive. The Monday session yesterday. Remember they were showing those signs of weakness that we were mentioning, that drunken monkey kind of style. Turns out that they were actually a bit weak, and that was a bit of a sign. But it's good that we are picking up those little nuances. So with that being said, the NQ never got back above this pivot area here, which was not the high of the day. Just a little bit of puking towards the end. I think, was that the market imbalance? That was the market imbalance, actually, the last 10 minutes of the session. But they too traded sideways, two-way trading to the right, a little bit lower towards midnight, and then they pushed back and attempted to make a run for those highs, but ended up failing here. And then that leaves us to the RT8 session. Do remember though, they did have those singles that were above us, which I don't have mapped, that were above us, that they were trying to aim at, and notice the lack of upside. Just very weak. Once they did push above that overnight high, which again was not the pivot, which was like, up here, maybe like 20 points higher or so. They couldn't stay above the overnight high. So, that was a note there. Again, their breakout under their initial balance low was much more aggressive and sustained. Once they broke through this overnight low, you can kind of see them moving a bit sideways. So definitely looking in hindsight, maybe not trading them directly, but possibly, just being attentive and understanding of how weak they are and how much of an effect that's going to have on the ES. It may take some time for it to happen, but you have multiple opportunities for me to get in with the product that I was trading. Again, 1, 2 if you're late, definitely three, and then you have multiple opportunities to, to kind of add. This would have been a little more aggressive for sure towards the end, but I kind of beat myself up in my journal about not being able to um, extract as much as I could here for the S&P 500. But in hindsight, I get it. But I'll work on it. But all right, that's pretty much it. Sorry, I was a little bit rambly today. Um, but yeah, so since the buyers have had the control for the most part, how well did they do? Believe it or not, I'll give them like a 3 or 4. I'm not gonna say they'll get like a 0 or 1 or 2, like the sellers have taken control or anything like that. I think given the context of everything, this was definitely a bit of a shock, but I think I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I'm trying not to do much thinking at all because that's not really my place to know what I think. But I will say, from what we saw, I don't see anything too crazy from the sellers. I think the buyers are just picking up where they left off on Friday, and once they ate through those singles, which was somewhat expected, they had a slow grind lower than that. The overnight session will be really important. We'll leave the theorizing for another time. For the NQ, I'm not really sure what to say about the NQ there. They something doesn't feel right there. So yeah, we'll leave it there. But all right, GG's. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I plan on having another video, the recording. I may or may not do the commentary, so we'll see.